Good morning. Welcome to WESN on the Content Capital. I'm Leah Ann Jones. It's Friday, April 29th, and I'm holding on for Andy Johnson this week. It's finally Friday. It seems like it's been such a long week. I don't know about you, but with all that heavy rainfall and the flooding and even the earthquakes, and especially with the Saharan dust that we're expected to experience today, I just feel like the weather has had it out for us this week. I'm just glad that we've made it to Friday. I'm really looking forward to this weekend, and I do hope you are as well. Let's take you through what's coming up on the show this morning. We've got Dr. Bhindrannath Tiwari, former Minister of Planning, and he is here to speak with us on police violence and the signs of maybe broken trust. We'll be speaking also with Mr. Balindra Maraj of the SILS Farmers Support Group. And after the news, we'll talk a bit with the Point Fortin Mayor, Ms. Salima Thomas, and she's going to shed some light on the decision to cancel some of the Point Fortin Borough Day events. We'll also take a look at the country's latest COVID statistics and take a look at the headlines in the Newsday newspapers. Now, for the past week, we've been following the developments in the investigation into the shooting death of PC Clarence Gilks in Diego Martin, Rich Plain Diego Martin last week. It was initially alleged that PC Gilks was shot by gunmen in the area, but since then, the results of an autopsy done earlier this week has rebuffed those claims, and it's changed the course of the direction of the investigation. This morning, Guardian columnist, former Minister of Planning and former principal of the University of the West Indies in Augustine, Dr. Bo Tiwari, is here. Good morning, Dr. Tiwari.
Good morning, Leah, and thanks for having me.
And thanks for joining us. Now, your newspaper column yesterday was focused on the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service and the death of one of its members in the line of duty. What direction would you like to see the investigation take now that the initial reports of shooting from the front have been rebuffed by the autopsy?
I think what is required now in the public domain, that is to say for citizens generally, is that we know the truth of what happened. This is a country in which people get killed, they get murdered, and you have no detection, and nobody is brought to justice. This is a country in which 24 prison officers have been killed over a 10-year period, and none of the perpetrators have been brought to justice. So in this particular case, we need to find out what happened so that we can determine what justice means. Now, this thing originally started as Constable Gilks being shot in crossfire by someone who was shooting at them and who they were shooting after. Mm-hmm. It turned out that does not seem to be so, because the evidence, as reported in the paper, in the newspapers, are that he was shot in the back and he was shot on the side of his temple. Now, in that situation, it seems to me that you need an investigation to find out what's up. I think every shell that was spent in that intervention by the police in Diego Martin, in Rich Plain, every shell should be secured. For instance, one of the alleged perpetrators, who turned out not to be, in fact, the person who fired the shot, said that he saw a policeman picking up shells from his gun after the Constable Gilks fell. So I think that's the first thing must be done.
Yeah.
But not only those shells, all shells, to verify where the shot came from. Now, there may be nothing in this. Maybe it was an accident. Accidents happen. But we need to know if it was an accident and how that accident occurred. It could be something more sinister, very sinister, in fact. There is a range of elements which you can think of which would indicate how sinister that is. It could be personal, it could be institutional. I think it's important to determine that. And therefore, you need an independent investigation. Is the police service independent enough to investigate itself? Well, I think it probably is, but I don't think that the public would be satisfied with that. So even if it does its own investigation, somebody else has to investigate.
Well,
and I really think that the commissioner should ask the Police Complaints Authority, and the government should give the Police Complaints Authority the resources to make sure that a proper investigation is done of a forensic nature, so that we can determine what actually happened, what the truth is, and what are the implications of that truth.
Okay, well, coming out of what you've just said, is it unreasonable for members of the public to think that based on what we now know as a result of the autopsy, that the police actions after what has happened was an attempt to cover up the real story?
We don't know, but that is what we must find out. If the police were doing nothing wrong and there was just a mistake, we must know that, and we must have the facts to tell us that. But if there was anything that happened which the police felt necessary to cover up and gave us a story to cover up, then we must find out that too, and there must be consequences for that. The problem in this country is that you cannot tell truth from fiction in most cases. You have investigations that end up with no results. You do not have clarity. And then when you have a result, you are still in doubt because you don't feel the investigation was properly carried out. And we need to know what the truth is. I mean, don't you think as a citizen you need to know the truth? Especially for an institution that is the police service, which can put your life in their hands.
The public certainly has a right to know and a right to the truth. Tell me, Dr. Tiwari, is it in your opinion, was it a misstep of the Acting Commissioner of Police McDonald Jacobs' part to rubbish the claims that the initial recount of what took place by his officers was possibly untrue? He denied it outrightly initially.
Well, I think he spoke too soon. He may have been speaking on the basis of misinformation fed to him. He may have been speaking on the basis of a story told to him that was not authentic. But I think as commissioner, he spoke too soon. I think from his point of view, he would say, I operated on the basis of the information I had. But I think you expect more from the leader of the police service of your country.
In your opinion piece, you lamented the unsolved murders of 24 prisoners, prison officers. Are you concerned that this investigation may result in a similar outcome, or are you confident that this case will be solved and the person or persons responsible will be brought to, will be found and justly punished?
I have very little confidence in things like these to be done properly. But I have great hope that they will be done properly and that we can turn a corner and do this thing right, and more than that, let justice prevail. Justice cannot prevail unless you know the truth. You see, one of the things in a court of law is that they make you swear, right? And when they make you swear, they make you say that you will speak the truth and the whole truth and nothing but the truth. And unless we could get the truth, you cannot have justice. You know, I mean, the story of the 24 prison officers who were killed. I mean, we have a remand yard in which people are there for 10, 15 years. These people have not been tried. You have a situation in which you have gangsters operating in the prisons. They have telephones. They can call hits. You have a situation in which the prisoners can intimidate the prison officers. 24 of them are killed, most likely from orders given in prison, some of them at least, and with the possibilities of tracing who the perpetrators are, and you can't get them. There has to be some kind of complicity or some kind of knowledge that is not made available that is at work here. And in this case, where it was alleged that someone living in Rich Plain fired a shot and killed the officer, and it turned out, first of all, that that is not true. And secondly, that the forensics indicate that the police was shot seemingly from the back or the side. I would think that you would want to know who was at the back or the side of this constable, Gilks. Secondly, how many shots were fired. You want to get every shell. You want to do the forensic work, and you want to do an independent investigation which tells you that X fired this shot, and X would then get a chance to explain what happened. Or if it is someone, you know, it could be a police officer, it may not be a police officer. Once that is done, the determination would have to be made by the DPP as to whether the person whose bullet is identified should be charged, and what they should be charged with. It could be murder, it could be manslaughter, it could be some lesser charge, but that has to be done. And one of the issues in the country too is that, anyway, I will deal with that another time. I think there's a more complex issue having to do with serious independence of investigations and prosecution and human rights issues.
Well, I wanted to ask if you've called for an investigation at least twice so far into this matter. Are you confident that the police service can investigate themselves unbiasedly?
I think that the Police Complaints Authority should investigate this. I think what they are, this involves a policeman. Mm-hmm. They have complaints about police in that station by the person who was initially fingered as likely to be the suspect. This policeman was killed in a police shootout. And I think, I don't think we would go wrong by having the PCA investigate this.
Well, even in this case, the alleged suspect, now turned witness, claimed through his lawyer, to be fearful for his life in turning himself in. Even his mother pleaded to the commissioner of police to allow him to defend himself before the courts without, being attacked. or being abused by the hands of the police. Would you say that reports of police brutality erode public confidence?
Well, yes. Well, listen, I would not like to be in the police service because I think that is a very hazardous job. It is a job of great responsibility, and it takes a lot of courage to be a policeman. And it is true there are some policemen who never come into harm's way and so on, but the threat is always there. And the criminal elements in this society are very brutal. They are savage. You have gangs, all right? And once you have gangs and you have the culture of gangs, you know, execution is commonplace. So you have a situation in which the police always have to be on the alert. They have to always be protecting themselves and protecting one another. And they are always in harm's way. So I don't want to make the case that a policeman's job is an easy job. And this place is crime-ridden. You have drugs, you have gangs, you have all kinds of things going on, international connections, human trafficking, etc. So it's a tough job. But I want to say also that community policing has broken down. Because what happens in places like Rich Plain or in other places, whether it's in Waterhole or Carenage or, I mean, if you go further east, you know, whether it is in East Port-of-Spain, Laventille or whatever, what happens there is that the police, because of the evolution of the relationship with communities, are not seen as protectors of those communities. So many times, people who are known criminals or gangsters are able to function in those communities because they help the communities. They build alliances with the communities. The community, they become, in a sense, except for the inter-gang warfare, they become protectors of the communities. And to some extent, the communities in times of trouble that they have will become protectors of them. So it is very difficult. And there's another element. There might be complicity between certain police elements and certain gangster elements. Now, in that kind of situation, and people will balk at this, but I mean, everybody knows that for a fact. When you have these elements, it's very hard to have community policing play the role that it needs to play. And when the police go into a community, sometimes they are not as restrained as they need to be. Sometimes they are not as respectful of the community's rights as they need to be. I am not saying that this always happens. And that helps to break down the relationship further, so that the police are seen by many communities as antagonists, as the enemy, rather than the gangsters, which is a terrible thing in the society, the community. And if community members who don't condone gangsterism and violence in the communities at all want to say something, can they be protected by the police? And this complicates the situation, so it makes it very hard. It breaks down the relationship between police and the community.
Would you
and
say
makes the trust almost impossible. Mm-hmm. And I think we have to find a way of dealing that, but you can only deal with that if you can deal with crime.
Dr. Tawari, would you say, therefore, that there is need for police reform? And if so, what should be the focus of this reform?
No, I think we need an honest police force. And 99%, maybe 95, maybe 90% of the police service might consist of very honest officers. You might have officers in the police service who are compromised because of all kinds of reasons, all right? and you might have elements of the police that are not much better than gangsters in uniform. And if you have that kind of situation, you are not going to have an effective police force that can get the results that you need in the society that we have. You're not going to have a police force that is fully trusted, and you're not going to have a situation in which justice can always prevail. And we must strive as a society to make sure that the instruments and arms of the law always serve the cause of justice. And that means doing what is right and on the basis of the truth, on the basis of the facts. And if there are unclean elements in the police service, they have to be weeded out. I don't see how you can have a barrel with some rotten apples and not expect the entire barrel to be contaminated. And, it is, I think, depending on this investigation and what it yields, what comes out, it might be an opportune time to deal severely with the issue of police reform.
Do you believe that the delay in filling of the post of police commissioner contributes to the issues we are facing in the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service?
I am not sure. I can't pronounce on that. I mean, we've had acting commissioners for a long time, and they operated as commissioners of police. The commissioner that preceded Gary Griffith was there, I don't know, God knows how long, as acting commissioner, and he proceeded. But I do think that the situation is a little different now and uncertain, because what has happened is that with Griffith gone and an acting commissioner there, an uncertainty about who is likely to be the next commissioner, whether it would be this person or whether it would be somebody else. I think that uncertainty about whether there is a temporariness to the present commissioner and whether a permanent commissioner will be somebody else, I think that uncertainty is a problem and would cause some anxiety in the service.
Okay, Dr. Jawari, I'm sorry we've run out of time this morning. I want to thank you for sharing your thoughts and your opinions on the state of the police service in Trinidad and Tobago. We're going to take a... Thank you for joining us.
I hope I have answered your very pointed questions, yes, honestly.
Thank you. You have. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll take a look at what's going on with this country's COVID statistics.
North Coast Jazz 2022. You asked for it. Consider it done. Park in comfort at the Queen's Park Savannah and ride in style to festival grounds for the biggest family event. North Coast Jazz and Heritage Festival. Park, ride, enjoy. It's all about family. Family Saturday, May 28th. Together again. Festival grounds, Blanchishers. Family. A tribute to Lord Nelson. North Coast Jazz and Heritage Festival. Born here, played here.
Tickets available at Crosby, St. James, Extra Foods Arima, Grand Bazaar, Endeavour and Chaguanas, Extra Foods Sagre Grande, Digicel, Trin City and Gulf City Malls, WESN, 38 Gattaca Street, Woodbrook, Suntix.com, or call our ticket hotline at 628-5835 or 681-1516. Change your fate. Start to win at life with $20,000 every month. Win $20,000 every month for 20 years with NLCB's newest game, Win for Life. 6 numbers from 28 plus the cash ball could make you win for life. You deserve a win. Play Win for Life today. Visit NOCBGames.com for details. Players must be 18 years and over. Please play responsibly.
What's the best way to grab the attention of viewers?
Please exercise more patience. You have to be kidding me.
Doing what we do best.
I'll say at the very least it's a conspiracy of laziness against the people.
Join me, Keaton Shaw.
And me, Sean Michael Small, for Talking Point.
Weekdays from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m.
We go in-depth on the trending issues and engage the most controversial newsmakers
as we get them to account to the people for their actions.
You can't go to the government with nothing. You can't go to cabinet with an empty hand, with a wish.
I'm glad that we're having this a sober, mature discussion.
In the present situation, I expect a continuation of the chaos.
Join us for the discussion, Mondays to Fridays,
only on WESN,
the content capital.
It may seem like the hardest thing to do right now, but we all need each other to wear a mask, wash our hands, watch our physical distance, and stay at home. We need you safe. Together we can make the difference. Together we can curb the spread of COVID-19. So let's be responsible in our actions. The Trinidad and Tobago Red Cross Society. Mission-based, people-focused, community-driven.
Welcome back. Let's take a look now at the country's latest COVID numbers. COVID-19 clinical update as of April 28th, 2022. Total number of recovered patients are 134,973. Total positive cases are 146,942. And total active positive cases have gone up to 8,148. We've had 802 new positive cases reported in the last 24 hours. Total number of deaths is 3,821. And the total number of patients in hospital is 169. Our next guest is Mr. Bindra Maraj, President of the Sills Farmers Support Group. He's here to speak with us on the work that the group has been doing with our local farmers. Good morning, Mr. Maraj. Are you there?
I'm here. Good morning. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you. Tell us about the Sills Farmers Support Group.
Well, Sills Farmers came about because a couple of months ago, we went to a place called La Compensation in Arima, where the farmers were flooding out. And these farmers usually sell their produce to, people in Arima and so, some businesses in Arima. And when we went there, we saw the position, what happened. We decided to try and assist as much as possible to help them get that river, that Carapo River, desilted, which we did. So what has happened is that that area started to become flooded because all the waters from Greenvale and from the La Joqueta area started to go into Carapo River. And that is where the issue came out. Now, we went in there and we did what we had to do. So from there now, we started getting other calls from other people in farming areas. And this is how Sills Farmers started. So at this point in time, we started working with other farm groups like Plumitan, Kernahan. We went to Paramin. We went to Warren. We went all over the country. We went to Grand Couva. Recently, we were in Barrackpore. We did Toko. We are trying to do some work in Toko area right now. So basically, this is what we are about. We are a lobby group trying to assist farmers because farmers need the assistance.
Okay, so tell us some more about the work that the group does with the local farmers.
Well, we were able to, with the meager resources that we have, we were able to get assistance from different groups, different regional corporations, different bodies to assist these farmers. sometimes we even have to, find funding from ourselves. So we have to do like our own fundraising schemes. Like we had a barbecue, which is what is helping us now to do some road repairs, funding for farmers, and that kind of thing. So we do try to assist ourselves regarding to the Plumitan farmers. We were able to help lobby the farmers. We were working with the PS in the Ministry of Agriculture, and we were able to at least get, in the last budget, $11 million for the Plumitan Assistance Program. Now, if you remember last year when we had the big flooding, the entire Plumitan farming area was flooded out. And we're talking about millions of dollars of farmers' property, goods and plantains and all these services that Plumitan supports and offers to the public. They all got damaged. As a matter of fact, there are 4 major pumps that take the water out of the Plumitan area into the river and takes it out to Manzanilla. Now, those pumps are down. When we went there was one pump working, taking water out of that farming area, which is under sea level. And that was working 24/7 to take that water out. So we lobbied, we tried, we did everything that we had to do. And we did, in fact, get some assistance on the Ministry of Agriculture for Plumitan. So these are the things that we do. We went to Warren. Now, this is another issue. In Warren there, what happened? The farmers in that area were having a problem. And this problem is how we Trinidadians look at and disrespect farmers. The people who collect garbage would take the garbage and dump it in the farmers, whether it's the roadway, at the side of the road, on the farmers' land where they're planting. And it is strange how we allow this to happen. We got some assistance from the Tunapuna Piarco Regional Corporation, and they started doing that cleaning up there in Warren. And I'll be honest with you, we never realized it was so much garbage being dumped. And we cleared, we got some work done, and you know what? When people started seeing the place was cleared, they started dumping more garbage again. So we are trying to work with the police in that area to try and stop that problem. So these are some of the issues. We went to a place in Princeton called Brothers Road. Actually, there's a side street where farmers are. There are about 60 farmers in this area called Piper Road. In Piper Road, we were able to get the regional corporation of the Couva Talparo Tabakit Regional Corporation to loan us a piece of equipment, the excavator, to help dig ponds or de-silt the ponds that the farmers are using and help us try to fix some roads. What we did is that we found some money and the farmers got together with us and we got the transport. So we paid for the transport to bring the machine and take it back. So these are some of the issues that we are working with the farmers and trying to assist.
Okay. Tell us, how does the recent action by officers of the Predial Larceny Squad impact farmers? They've stopped work, essentially.
Well, let me tell you something. Farmers are faced with a lot of problems. And one of the problems is Predial Larceny. And I have a problem because I'll tell you something. We have been talking to these people. We have been trying to assist them, right? And I think, while I don't agree with their position, I think dialogue is important. But you see, they have a challenging job. They're short-staffed. They don't even have a vehicle. The only vehicle they have right now, one of the vehicles, was some of the business people in the central area assisted them in repairing that vehicle. Predial Larceny has some very dedicated officers, very, very, very dedicated. They know the farmers, they know the areas. And I am saying to you that I know of a particular officer, I don't know if I should call his name, but he has actually gotten to know all the farmers and the farming groups in the entire central area. He has put them on a chat on his phone, right? And he has now, I think, about 16 different chats. Now, this is initiative. We spoke to them. We got them to do what we are asking, to assist the farmers. And these are the things that they are doing on their own. And I agree, they need some assistance, because in the long run, it is not only the officers who will benefit, it's the farmers. And by extension, the public. Because when farmers plant and they can reap what they plant and make something out of it, they will survive and the public will survive.
Do you have any suggestions on how the farmers and the members of the Predial Larceny Squad can, or what can be done to assist or continue assisting the farmers? Do you have any proposals for the Ministry of Agriculture or for the ones in charge of the Predial Larceny Squad?
The major problem we have with farmers in this country is that we do not have a good representative organization. An organization that can stand for farmers and stand for people who are assisting farmers, like the Predial Larceny Squad. I am saying that dialogue is important. We need dialogue with the ministry and the Predial Larceny Squad immediately. It is a matter of emergency. I am not aware of if the ministry, right, understands the role of the officers. I'm going to go back and say again that at this time, the Predial Larceny is so important. It is so important. About 2 months ago, we were in the Grand Cougar talking to farmers, Grand Cougar area. I witnessed, this is me, I was at that meeting talking to the farmers, and a gentleman where we were actually came and tears came out his eyes because he had about 2,000 avocados to pick. And when he was about to pick it, the next day, the night before, someone stole all. This is a gentleman who depended on that money to live and to continue his farming. Dialogue is very, very important because you know what? If we do not get this squad up, we need manpower, we need transport, we need communications. The squad needs to be, there must be some kind of dialogue with the ministry, or maybe ourselves and Predial Larceny to bring this matter to an end, because we can't continue, putting one sector of agriculture aside and not bringing them together. We need to unify the sector. Mm-hmm. So dialogue to me is very, very critical. And the minister must play an important role here, or the PS in the Ministry of Agriculture.
I understand that there are some concerns, that your group has some concerns with respect to the Agricultural Society of Trinidad and Tobago. Would you care to share what some of these concerns are?
Well, you see, I just raised the one. If there was a proper functioning ASTT, they should have intercepted this problem, and they should have gotten involved by sorting this problem out with the ministry. Now, any organization that represents farmers, now I want you to understand clearly that the ASTT, right, is governed by an act of parliament, and I'll be honest with you, it is the only body that is recognized by parliament, by government, by the ministry. So if you have a body like that that is not functioning properly, 100%. These issues that you are facing up to, whether it is other agricultural issues, such as like lastly, the price of chemicals, the issues that farmers face, whether it's roads, whether it is funding, whatever the issues are, farmers need a voice. And that is critical, a voice to say, look, this is what we are facing. In order for us to make sure that we have proper food security in this country within the next few months, farmers need a voice, and that voice can only come from the ASTT, because remember, whatever has to happen in the ASTT, because it's guided by an act of parliament. Yes, it's an old act, very old, antiquated. The problem is it is only recognized by that act. So the voice must come from what is recognized and who the government and the ministry recognize.
Understood. So is it your intention for members of your group to contest the upcoming ASTT elections?
Yes, the notion is there, definitely.
Can you tell me what positions you are focusing on and contesting?
All 26, all.
Okay. Where do you think we are with respect to food security in Trinidad and Tobago?
That's a very interesting question. Now, you have to understand that food security is very critical. We need to pay a lot of attention to food security. Trinidad has the potential and the capacity to have food security, but we need to have a change in our palate. That's very critical. At this point in time, I want you to understand what is going on outside there. Farmers are producing, and in certain areas, there is what you call a glut. Tomatoes. You're getting 5 pounds of tomatoes on the roadside for $20, right? There's a glut of pineapples in this country. There is a glut of sweet potatoes. And so it goes on. You can get 100 okras for $30. These are the things that we are seeing. 5 pounds of dasheen for $20. And this is what is continued to happen. There is, at this point in time, there is the potential to have our own food security. But what it needs is some proper management. And again, I'm coming back to the ASTT. If there is proper management in the ASTT, farmers will be able to do what they have to do. Now, 70% of the food that they produce that farmers are doing in this country comes from squatters. Farmers who are squatting on government land, on land all over. 70% of our food production comes from that sector. That sector does not have land tenure. So some of the things that we are doing is trying to assist people farmers who are producing now, and we are trying to help them with land tenure. We have our legal team working with a lot of farmers. We even went so far as to help farmers fill out their valuation forms and so. So we need to make sure that farmers have not only land tenure, but we need to make sure that farmers are protected so they can take their deeds, their agreements, land agreements, and go to ADB and make sure they can get funding to continue farming.
Okay.
But you see, we can produce all the food and feed the whole of Trinidad. The problem is, what do we do with the extra? What do we do with extra food production? Why do we have the best pineapple in the world, the Sugarloaf pineapple, and we just sell it at the side of the road, or we sell it in the supermarkets? Where is the thinking to take that pineapple, can it, and make juice, pineapple slices, pineapple chunks, whatever we can, and have that not only for the local market, but for the entire Caribbean. Trinidad can supply the entire Caribbean with pineapple for the hotel industry and the tourism industry. We can do the same with watermelons. We can do the same with sweet potato. Why are we not talking about sweet potato fries? We are producing the best cassava in this country right now. We have enough cassava for the local industry. We can export. The problem is, how do we go down to the end user? How do we go down to the packaging, the consummate, making sure that the end product is taken and used in the proper manner?
Okay, thanks again, Mr. Maraj. We've run out of time. I'm sorry, but really want to say thank you for giving us some time and expressing the concerns of your group as it pertains to farmers and farming in Trinidad and Tobago. I wish you all the best on the upcoming ASTT elections.
Thank you very much. You're welcome. Thank you.
We are going on to the regional news next. Guyana's President, Irfaan Ali, is seeking to encourage foreign investment with low energy prices in order to promote further industrialization and development and economic growth. News Source Guyana has this story.
President Irfaan Ali is in the United Kingdom pushing investment opportunities in Guyana. And today he told the Guyana Investment Seminar in London that Guyana is prime for investment as the country continues to grow as a major oil producer. The president pointed to the development of the manufacturing and the industrial sectors in the country and told the investment forum that the country is preparing to cut energy costs by half in the next 3 years to encourage investment and bolster the manufacturing and other sectors. President Ali explained that because of the oil and gas sector and the major development taking place in Guyana, it is important that the manufacturing sector thrives. He said his government will ensure cheap energy is realized to aid in that sector's development.
We have already committed that by 2025, the cost of energy must be reduced by 50%. And by doing that, it will put Guyana on equal footing to compete with other countries where manufacturing and industrial development plays a vital role.
The president said the cut in energy will be realized through the hydro and natural gas projects. He told the potential UK investors that the development trajectory of his administration will ensure that citizens of the country also benefit from the oil wealth and the various forms of development taking place.
That is the only way the country can progress. If all the people of the country have access to facilities that will help to uplift their lives. So whether you're from the hinterland or you're an indigenous Guyanese, or you're from the town or the urban center, the investment will be made for all Guyanese to benefit from these facilities.
On the issue of transformation, President Ali told the forum that Guyana is currently undergoing an enormous transformation in several areas. He said the country is open to investors from the United Kingdom and every other country. But in those investments, the Guyanese people must be the center.
The overall development agenda is to see prosperity for every single Guyanese citizen. It's to see every single Guyanese citizen having the best possible access to important services like housing, health, education.
The president said while the interest shown by the UK private sector over the years has been low, the stage is now set for massive investment from the United Kingdom and its companies in Guyana. Today's seminar in London was organized by the Caribbean Council.
We're going to take a look at the answers from the Newsday poll. And the question today: what are your views on CXC's decision to postpone CAPE or CSEC by 3 weeks? And our top answer: not bothering with stuff I can't control. The news is up next at the top of the hour. Stay tuned.
7 is out, all day is in. WESN News on the hour.
Every day, we communicate through stories. Stories of ourselves, our challenges, our goals, our experiences, and our aspirations. Storytelling is an art that we have mastered. WESN Film Studios comprises a collaborative team of experts with extensive industry experience locally, regionally, and internationally. The ability of your business to successfully communicate with your preferred audience depends on the strength of the stories you tell. Your vision should be communicated in a high-quality, professional, and creative way. From concept to post-production, advertising to film, multi-camera productions, live events, streaming, and virtual conferencing, we are WESN Film Studio. Let your own unique voice be heard and your vision realized. Call us today at 628-5835 for your next production.
In this season, we talk more about health, wellness, and everything in between. I am so excited to share with you everything about health and wellness so that you can design the life that you've always dreamed of. Join me here on What's Up Doc.
What's Up Doc? Tuesdays and Thursdays here on WESN, Content Capital.
Is it politics? What is it? Is it that nobody cares about sports?
The kind of support that sport used to get in the past is no longer here.
The thing is, taking a knee doesn't mean that that's the only thing you're doing on it.
Right.
Taking a knee along with other stuff.
Samantha, what are you looking forward to when you return home to Trinidad and Tobago after winning the title?
Thank you very much for speaking it into existence.
Is it no pressure on Nicholas Ball?
It makes me more motivated to work hard and to go out there and rep the white and black.
Why are we sending a team to the Winter Olympics?
There are a number of Trinbagonians who are in the diaspora and have grown up in winter sport. It's an opportunity that the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee will not close the door on.
I also believe in the players that we have. Once you can motivate the players, you can get the best out of them.
I am Rondell Donowa, attorney at law and host of Strictly Legal on WESN Content Capital. Strictly Legal is a legal program geared towards informing you, the public, of your legal rights, responsibilities, and remedies. So be viewing Thursdays 10 a.m. to 10:30 a.m.
Burning questions, urgent topics, welcome back to One-on-One, the show where we tackle the most current and pertinent subjects that are affecting all citizens, where we ask the hard questions and have in-depth conversations. What separates One-on-One from other talk shows is that the conversation stems from a younger perspective on topics that affect the fabric of our society. One-on-One, Wednesdays at 10 a.m. on WESN Content Capital.
Let your voice be heard. Call Madam Fix-It on WESN, the only place that effectively helps you with your woes. Having problems getting onto government agencies, water woes, NIS and pension problems, potholes, and much, much more. Call me, Madam Fix-It, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right here on WESN. Let me fix it for you.
A reminder from WESN. We urge you to protect yourself and others from the spread of COVID-19. Stay safe by taking some simple precautions. Clean your hands often. Use soap and water or an alcohol-based hand rub. Maintain a safe distance from anyone who is coughing or sneezing. Wear a mask. Don't touch your eyes, nose, or mouth. Cover your nose and mouth with your bent elbow or a tissue when you cough or sneeze. Stay at home. If you have a fever, cough and difficulty breathing, seek medical attention. Following the above can help us all to help each other.
Welcome back. As our COVID numbers continue to rise over the past couple weeks, a decision has been made to cancel major signature events carded for the upcoming Point Fortin Borough Day celebrations. With us today to shed some light on the reason for this decision is Point Fortin Mayor Mrs. Salima Thomas. Good morning, Mrs. Thomas. Can you hear us, Mrs. Thomas?
Yes, I can. Could you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you now. Good morning and welcome. The country is reopening events, schools and workplaces, back out to full capacity and full numbers. Tell us, why was the decision taken to cancel some of the Borough Day's key events?
So, well, as you know, we were in full planning and preparation mode for an extensive calendar of events in commemoration of our 42nd anniversary. However, with the uptick cases or slight increase in cases, the COVID-19 cases, there was a call by the Minister of Health and the Minister of Local Government and Attorney General acting to scale down or scale back on some of these events, specifically the street type or parade type events, due to the number of persons that this would have encouraged. So as a community and as a borough, we are not one that will want to add to the pressures to our healthcare system or to this pandemic that we are still in, or that we are still currently in. So the decision was made by the council that to go through and cancel those specific events, that being the traditional mass, the military parade, and the Taste of Juvie, so that there wouldn't be no form of major or mass gathering as they would have requested.
Do you expect that turnout will be affected by the cancellation of these events to the other?
Well, yes and no, because I think after 2 years, persons would have been looking forward to these events or these particular type of events, especially the business community, our local entrepreneurs. So yes, it would have an impact, some form of impact in terms of the persons who usually will visit or come out to celebrate our anniversary.
Okay, and are you concerned that vendors and other stakeholders may pull out?
No, well, I can say after the call for us to have to cancel and that media release being sent out last Sunday, I would have held numerous stakeholder meetings between Monday to now. And I have to say all those stakeholders, both local and otherwise, have remained committed to their sponsorship, and the council has been looking at creative ways on bringing back some form of program or similar type program, but in a more enclosed or safe zone environment. So to say safe zone environment and to live stream so that persons could still enjoy it in the comfort of their homes.
Okay, and what measures, or are there any measures being put in place to try to alleviate some of the private business concerns for the cancelled events?
We are still in conversation with those stakeholders and the council, ourselves. We would have met, as I said before, with those key stakeholders, and the conversation continues. So we are looking at some form of measures, working together to see how best, we can, support each other. That's what we support each other as we try to move forward, during this time.
Okay, so can you tell us what are some of the events that we can look forward to in the upcoming celebrations?
Sure. So so let me firstly just say that I don't think I did mention that the community spotlight events, those events were also cancelled. And to replace those community spotlight events, and it's already started, we would have started on Tuesday night, is a event that's titled It Takes a Village. And it has been streaming live on a platform called Lakeview Live. And then that would have been shared to all our social media platform, pages. And this forum is one that we're going into the communities and, looking at all the local artists or cultural artists to perform, to display their artwork. And we're also interviewing local businesses. So on Tuesday, last, we would have started in the electoral district of New Village. That was our first stop. And I have to say it was a success. So we had almost 8 persons from in the community. Now, these are persons that reside there in that particular district. They were given the opportunity to highlight their cultural skills, whether it be through calypso, dance, or monologue. We would have also interviewed the businessmen and women in that particular district as well. And then we would have moved on from Tuesday and we went into the electoral district of Hollywood. And last night we were in the electoral district of Egypt. Tonight we will be in the electoral district of Captiville. Now, all of this would have been, we would have scaled back significantly because the usual community spotlight events, it would have allowed or permit, for the persons to come out and listen, and the local vendors would have come out and be able to sell and, earn some form of revenue. But again, due to the slight increase in the cases, the COVID-19 cases, we have now still decided to change the dynamics. It is still somewhat the same, but it's just that it will be streamed live for persons to still participate, as well. We also will be having, just recently we held our health fair, and yesterday we had our business fair, and that business fair was scheduled for one day. However, we would have carried out or extended it for 2 more days. So today, our local businessmen, and this is a part of the plan or the strategic plan or measures, as you would have asked earlier on, as to what we are doing to support those persons, who are looking forward to the birthday celebration. So we would have extended the business market for 2 more days, today and tomorrow. And as we move along, we will also be hosting a comedy fest tomorrow. That will also be done in a safe zone type of event. Persons will be invited because it's a ticketed event. So we are having that event on Saturday night. And then as we move along on the calendar, on the Sunday, so I'm just looking at the calendar here. We are also going to participate or support the sporting group in Point Fortin will be hosting a football tournament on Sunday the 1st. And then as we move along, we have our Women's Symposium, where that is taking the form of a chat room where we'll be having discussion with women from in our community about different things, about life, family life, career life, And as we go along, we would have the military band concert. Again, this will also be in an enclosed, safe zone type environment, so that the crowd or the invitees, that will be able to be well managed. Then on the Saturday, which is the 7th, the day that persons look forward to for the Juvie, we will, and the Juvie and the Pan, that is, we are having a Pan concert. Now, it is a very scaled down version to what persons are accustomed to, but it will be stage-side performances by various bands. It will not be the same number of bands we're accustomed to, but there will be a concert type, where persons could come, again, enclosed, safe zone environment, and all measures will be implemented, and we would be able to manage those persons or patrons who will be coming to enjoy that concert. So those are some of the events that will remain on the calendar. The council continues to review our program of events, and there will be new events coming on. I just will not make mention of it here because the council is still in its deliberation stages. So as soon as it's finalized, a revised calendar of event will be circulated.
Well, that is indeed quite a lineup that you have carded there so far. So are you therefore confident that the community would be happy and content with the celebrations for the 42nd anniversary Borough Day?
Well, so far I have to say, in terms of the response, yes, as the council, we were very, much, disappointed. However, what we would have done and planning to do is to ensure that those persons, who would have, already made, significant investment, that whatever we plan to do, it is in a line with the government's, roadmap to ensure that we get out of this pandemic safely. And it's what we're also planning to do to also look at programs that could support those persons and still give them an opportunity. So the council is very much aware of, what is happening out there, and for those persons who would have, this will affect significantly, so that all the measures are right now being discussed, and we're hoping that, as we continue to press forward in commemorating our 42nd anniversary, that persons will get some form of satisfaction. Now, we may not be able to please everyone, but this is a situation, that is beyond, somewhat beyond our control. But again, we still have the people's interests at heart, because that is our responsibility, and we're going to maintain that as a council as we represent the people of Point Fortin.
Okay, thank you for that, Mrs. Thomas. Moving away just a little bit from the Borough Day celebrations, can you tell me what or if there are any major issues facing the borough, and if you have any plans to tackle them during your the rest of your term?
Well, I guess like everything else, we have challenges, and we are no different, in terms of the financial challenges in wanting to, in order to complete or to pursue some of our plans and projects, the finance is a problem. But I have to say, we have been gaining a lot of support from our local business community. And, they are the ones that have been standing with us in order for us to overcome these challenges and to achieve the objectives of the corporation. So we have some plans, some major legacy projects that we're presently, embarking on. And we hope to continue those projects and have them completed within a reasonable time so that the people of Point Fortin will be able to enjoy those development projects.
Okay. And Mrs. Thomas, Carnival 2023 is on. It's on the calendar. Point Fortin typically, has their own events for Carnival. Can you tell me if you have started preparing for Carnival 2023?
This time, no, because our focus, mainly would be surrounding our birthday celebrations. I know soon after the carnival, the local carnival committee, which is also the same members for our culture and celebrations committee for planning the birthday, they will be going straight into their preparation mode for Carnival 2023. But at this time, the focus remains, around our birthday activities.
All right. Well, that's understood. That's understood. Thank you for your time this morning, Mrs. Thomas. We are going to wrap up now. That was Point Fortin Mayor Mrs. Salima Thomas on the celebration, the cancellation, of some of the major events, and of course, what's coming up, what's on the calendar for the upcoming 42nd anniversary Point Fortin Borough Day celebrations. Thanks again, Mrs. Thomas.
Thank you for having me, and all the best.
Okay.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll take a look at the Newsday newspaper headlines.
Let your voice be heard. Call Madam Fix-It on WESN, the only place that effectively helps you with your woes. Having problems getting onto government agencies, water woes, NIS and pension problems, potholes, and much, much more. Call me, Madam Fix-It, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right here on WESN. Let me fix it for you.
The issue, the continued rise in the price of flour and its impact on the cost of living in Trinidad and Tobago. How should we go about it? I want to ask you, what has been revealed to you about the state of vulnerability in the country because of this exercise and because of what we're going through? Is the government losing the war on the vaccine front?
The discussion should revolve around the common good for the greatest number of people in Trinidad and Tobago.
How do we inculcate a sense of respect and regard for people who may not be of your own political ilk or persuasion?
The communities are now being used by political opportunists. So
when the tables are turned, it's the same way. Okay, this has been 10 Questions. I'm Andy Johnson, and we'll see you next time.
A three-day event. Big Screen Friday, Jazz Family Saturday, Sunday Blues. Family. A tribute to Lord Nelson. North Coast Jazz, May 27th to 29th. Born here, played here.
The best for your baby is at thebesttoys.com. From the best strollers, car seats, baby carriers, high chairs, booster seats, rockers, jumpers and bouncers, walkers, baby blankets, feeding accessories, bathtubs. Visit us in-store at Forces Flagship McLean. Shop online now at thebesttoys.com. Order via call or WhatsApp at 332-BABY. And remember, we have the best toys at the best prices.
Gift giving during a lockdown can still be hassle-free with a gift from FanZone with delivery options available nationwide. Visit and browse our Facebook and Instagram pages for all your official licensed merchandise and apparel and have it delivered to your door. Find us on Facebook and Instagram. FanZone, we've got you covered.
If you live with someone who's tested positive for COVID-19 and has to self-isolate at home, take care of them from a distance and reduce their movement around the house. Give them space, a designated space, and open those windows. If you have to be in contact, mask up, both of you. If you work, stay home from work and don't go out, not even to the grocery or pharmacy. And remember, no visitors allowed. Limit the contact to limit the spread.
The Trinidad and Tobago Red Cross Society. Mission-based, people-focused, community-driven.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at the newspaper, the headlines in the Newsday newspaper. Supermarket giant's digital system crashes, Massy cyber attack. So, as some of us you may know, Massy Stores was the victim of a cybersecurity attack. Massy Stores confirmed in a media release shortly after 4 p.m. yesterday afternoon. Major story. It is the second case of a cybersecurity breach in the country this week. And on the back page, Privy Council to decide on ex-FIFA Vice President's extradition charge, Warner waits. Yeah, that's the back page of the Newsday Sports. Former Vice President, FIFA Vice President and Government Minister Jack Warner now has to wait on the Privy Council's decision on his challenge to his extradition to the United States to face a barrage of charges of fraud. And moving on to the Newsday Tobago, the Pentecostal L&L to be audited. So there's some controversy over the closure of the Pentecostal Light and Life Foundation High School, and the THA Secretary of Education, Research and Technology, Zorisha Hackett, has revealed her division's intent to launch an investigation into the closure of the school. And that's the front of the Tobago Newsday. And in the back, York issues message to new Manchester United coach, have full control. And this is the back of the paper. Well, that's it. That's all the time we have for today's show. Thank you for staying with us here on AM Prime on WESN Content Capital. Thank you to all our guests, Dr. Bohindranath Tiwari, Mr. Balindra Maraj of the SILS Farmer Support Group, and of course to Point Fortin Mayor, Mrs. Sulima Thomas. Also, it's my last day here on AM Prime, and he returns next week. So I want to say a special thank you to the technical team here at WESN. I appreciate you. If you want to get in touch with us here on AM Prime, email us at amprime@wesncc.com or check us out at WESNCC on all our social media platforms. It's been an absolute pleasure being here with you this week, and I hope to join you sometime again in the future. Before I go, I just want to leave you with a taste of our sweet, sweet music. This is an upcoming Canadian-based artist. His name is Fede Rich Rasta Ruben, and he's a son of the soil based in Canada, and his Caribbean heritage heavily influences his music. I saw him perform live during recent carnival celebrations, and I was truly impressed. Here you have Fede Rich Rasta Ruben with his offering for 2022. It's entitled The Boss. I am Leah Ann Jones. Andy is back next week. Thank you and take care.
Ooh, yeah. Feel it for the girl, yeah. Say the boss and say everything up, everything up, ooh. This year, can I let nothing bother me? If my girl say I cannot whine on nobody, every time I go to shock my girl with you, cause that is my baby. So if you see me in a party, pretend you ain't see me. Hug up with my lady, pretend you ain't see me. Jump up like too much stick, cause I'm thinking about my head. I don't want nobody else, cause I'm whining on the boss. I'm betting with the boss. I'm whining with no remorse. front and